Content warning. Child endangerment, bombing, pareidolia. Welcome to the Rue Papers. Hello, Fiona? Yes. Yes, that sounds right. Fiona. How are you, Fiona? I feel better. I feel ready and alert and less fuzzy. Better than I felt for months. More complete than I felt in months. More in control of myself. It's odd, I know there are gaps in my memory. I look back and I wonder, how did I not notice? I was so sure I knew what was happening and I was controlling it, but I wasn't, was I? You know that, don't you? Well, you might have told me. Someone must know. Someone could have told me. I know I've forgotten so much, and yet I also feel stuffed full of knowledge. Too stuffed. There's too much in there, too many stories. Smashing the music box obviously did something. I have no idea why I did it. I just had an instinctive reaction to smash the bloody thing to bits. No. Wait, that's not entirely true. I heard her voice. My grandmother. Telling me to get rid of the bloody thing. So I did. I must admit it was quite satisfying. Made one hell of a racket, didn't it? It as good as screamed. Good. I hope it hurt. I've done an inventory of the shelves. You know, catalogued what is on there and where it is, label the shelves, tried to make some sort of order. So what is down here in the basement of doom? Books, obviously. The papers of the Rue Institute. Still a mess. Why are they still a mess? I spend hours trying to tidy them, and yet when it comes to it, still a mess. Supernatural intervention? Rose coming down here and playing with things? Robin or Elena coming down here or playing with things? Or my own befuddled mind? Well, enough of that. I'm making a map and an index. I am a librarian, and I shall behave like one. Elena's story about other stories. Elena was right. I am used to it. But I never listen. Listen. It's a librarian, isn't it? Whoever it is that walks down here. Maybe she's one of the whispers. I've catalogued the whispers. Aren't you proud of me, Fiona? No more nervous and falling apart bee. Now I am Beatrice the librarian. And as usual in every library, the shelving of books is never finished. Not even when one is dead, apparently. Now, the whispers. A little girl? Maybe the one from the Silver Light story. And a man, I'm not sure who. And sometimes a very sensible woman. And sometimes me. I wonder if she sounds like me because... Let me just check that. It was some stones, those funny ones with faces on, crashing to the floor. The amount of time something crashes to the floor in here, I'm beginning to think gravity is stronger in the whole general area. I'm just amusing myself, really. I have a call from John coming through soon, and I'm just hanging around until it gets here. Yes, I pulled myself together and made the call. Aren't you proud of me? And while I'm waiting, I have a story. A little tale my neighbour used to tell me when I was little, I think. My childhood has gone a bit fuzzy these days. Long, long ago, when you were just a little dot in your mummy's eyes, I was a little girl myself. That's when this happened. I lived in a city then, Coventry. I liked it there. It was busy and full of people and things happening. On sunny days, I used to skip out of school and run up and down the streets watching people. I loved the sunshine, and I loved to be out of doors, and I loved talking to people. I learned more on those streets than I ever learned in school. People will stop and tell you things if you ask them nicely, especially if you're a sweet little girl. That's not my story. That's just to show how sweet I was. It's important to remember that. I was nice. I was in trouble. I had been caught skipping out on school, and I was at home, in bed, as the sun shone outside. It wasn't fair. I never liked to be indoors when the sun was shining. Not then. Mum was at work and Dad, well, all our dads were away then. And there was a knock at the door. Now, it wasn't the postman's knock, or the milkman, or anyone like that. I knew all of them. It was someone new, and I wanted to meet someone new. So I ran downstairs and flung open the door. No one was there. Well, just some kids playing knock-down ginger. I closed the door and turned away, and there it was again. Knock, knock, knock. I flung open the door and no one was there again. But it was a very busy street, and maybe they just managed to hide in the crowd. I was impressed. Whoever they were, once I caught them, I was going to ask them to teach me the trick. So I closed the door but didn't turn the latch. I just waited there, ready to catch them. Knock, knock, knock. I flung open the door and no one was there again. Of course. But I caught a glimpse of a shadow on the pavement, almost like someone had been there and run away and the shadow was a bit too slow to catch up. Like Peter Pan when he lost his shadow. Like I said, I was a bright, happy little girl, so I, as a joke, curtsied low and said, "Come in, Mr. Shadow." Nothing happened, of course, except for a moment. The sun went behind a cloud, and I shivered. I went back to bed after that. I knelt up on my bed, watching the street below, trying to see if I could see the children playing knock-down ginger. I went to school the next day. It was raining, so I was happy to. It got sunny in the afternoon, and I tried to run for it out to the streets, but the teachers caught me. When I got home, very late, I had gone for a wander. My mum was sitting at the kitchen table. All the curtains were closed, but not the blackout curtains, so there was a dim light in the room. She was sitting at the table with a cold cup of tea in front of her, staring into the room. She didn't move when I said hello, so I went to open the curtains. "Don't!" she screamed. "Don't make shadows!" As the sunlight poured in, everything in the room cast a shadow. The kettle and the stove and the cup and the table and my mum. Shadows everywhere. They seemed darker than normal, almost black, and there were so many of them. My mum scrambled to close the curtains. "No shadows!" she panted. "No shadows!" I thought she'd gone shell-shocked, like other people in the street had. So I sat her down and made her sweet tea and made myself a bit of dinner. But then it came time to put the blackout curtains up. You won't remember these, love. Big heavy curtains that cut out all lights going in and out. We kept ours nailed to a bit of board and put them up when it came time for blackout. You could get into trouble if you didn't. The ARP warden would come round and fine you, so we always put them up, even though I hated being shut out from the street. But that night Mum tore them down as soon as I put them up. "We have to," I said. "No, they make the room one big shadow." "Mum, we can't put any lights on without them." "No lights, no shadows." It made me think of the shadow on the street, and that I had invited him in. But that was silly, just a game. And Mum, well, everyone was a bit funny those days. It was the things we saw on the street the mornings after the planes came. I knew no one would come out to help after blackout unless it was an emergency, but I didn't think she was, and anyway, she'd be all right by morning if she could sleep. I got her to bed somehow and got her to lay down and close her eyes. She went to sleep right away. She must have been exhausted, poor love. And then I went to bed and didn't bother to put the blackout curtains up. As long as I didn't light any candles or switch the light on, we were fine. I sat up late, watching the searchlights in the sky. It were quite pretty, really. And there were lots of bangings and sirens. Someone somewhere had been bombed, but I couldn't see where. It weren't quiet till about 3 a.m. So I wonder how long it had been going on. Knock, knock, knock. I thought it was on my bedroom door, and I thought it was Mum, so I opened it. But she weren't there. Then I realised it was coming from her room. I walked up the landing and realised something. The knocking was coming from my side of the door, not hers. Outside, not in. The searchlight was still on, and I hadn't put up the blackout curtains on the landing window, and it shone right across the corridor, and in the searchlight was a shadow, long and thin and dark, reaching for the bedroom door. I was so scared, but she was my mum, and whatever it was, I'd let it in. I ran to open her door, but it was bolted from the inside. "Let me in!" I shouted, and she shouted back, "No, I know what you are!" And I told her it was me, and then I heard the bolts shoot back, and I thought, she's let me in. But when I got in, the room was all bright light and dark shadows, and I couldn't see where the light came from. It weren't just the searchlight, it was bright as day in there. And she was by the fireplace, holding a poker, and she couldn't have got across the room so fast, she couldn't. And before I could say a thing, she smashed the poker down on my head. I was in hospital for months. They took her away to a different hospital. They were very kind. They said the war had driven her mad, like it had a lot of people. It was winter by the time I was allowed to leave. Mum still hadn't left the hospital. I went to visit her once, but she just sat in a dome room and wouldn't let the sunshine in. My aunt had come to stay. She was very kind and very sweet. I was a good girl. It was too cold to hang around the streets. It was dark very early, and we put the curtains up and left the light low, and the house was full of shadows, soft shadows, dim around the edges, smoky and sinuous, and never sharp. I thought we'd be okay. I thought it had gone. It was November, I remember that. Bitterly cold, and I came home to a warm kitchen and music on the radio. I fell asleep early and woke during the night. Something was touching me. Something sharp, cold, ice and steel. I reached for my light, but it didn't turn on. The electrics must have been out. The blackout curtains were up, and I couldn't see a thing, but I heard it on my bedside table. Knock, knock, knock. I stayed still. I didn't dare breathe. I held my eyes shut, as if I could stop it if I couldn't see it. It was just a shadow. It weren't anything. Just a bit of darkness, and weren't we all used to darkness these days? It couldn't hurt me. But then I felt the bed dip, as if someone got in beside me. I felt the blankets tug away from me. Just a bit. Just an inch. And I felt the breath on my cheek. Sharp, vile breath. Breath that choked. Not cold. Hot. Like the heat from a furnace, the heat from machinery. Something shifted, and my blackout curtain dropped, and the room flooded with light from outside. I didn't dare turn, but I looked down. Over the blanket was draped a shadow, sharp as a knife, sharp as death, laying over my arm. And as I lay there, I felt it bang on the headboard. Knock, 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 knock! I couldn't take it anymore. I jumped out of bed and turned to the room to see what was there. An entire room of shadows. No, one large shadow, huge and dark and pulsating, breathing in and out, and wherever it touched wood, there it was. Knock, and knock, and knock, and knock. This is what I had let in. I had no idea what to do. I was only a child. And then the sky lit up. Brighter as day. Brighter. A huge light, large enough to be seen for miles. And the shadow looked at it and screamed. Silently, no mouth, but I know it screamed because I felt it in my body. I felt it scream. I felt it fall apart, screaming in agony all the way, tearing into tiny pieces, and every tear hurt. Then it was gone, and I turned to see all of Coventry was on fire. I'd like to tell you that was the end of the story, little Beatrice. But it wasn't. That shadow, it didn't disappear. It fractured. And when I went out the next sunny day, I could see little pieces of it. In every shadow the sun cast, there was a sliver of that sharp shadow. I went home every day after that and never played out on the street. And you may have noticed, little bee, I don't like sunny days anymore. Shadows and knocks. How traditional. I bet if I'm silent just now, I'll hear knocking. No? How disappointing. Shit! Sorry. John, is that you?
I can just hear you.
Great, you're breaking up? Where are you? Some sort of cabin?
Little words sticking in the ass.
Okay, this call may not last long. John, what can you tell me about the Ellingtons?
It was always is the powerful City Augusta, endless
John, I can't hear.
Warning. It's extra warning. It's warning. because the biggest
John, are you alone? Is there someone there beside you?
careful. It's careful. It's got
John,
Rose.
please, turn around, or switch a light on, or something.
Your wings.
John, there's something in the shadows behind you. John? John?
Focus.
John, get out! There's something there! Get out!
It's all you, Beatrice.
John! Wait. Let me... The connection is broken. What was that? What did I see? There's something behind him. A shadow. A shadow? What did he say? I only caught words. I recorded it, but... It's all me? The other voice. The other ghost. It's me. Isn't it? John? John, is that what you're trying to say? Let me rewind that call. I can see a shape in the shadows behind him. I think maybe it's just pareidolia. He's not answering my calls, but Robin said the signal was fuzzy. It often dropped out. Wait. There's a spot. Is that a face? Just for a second. One frame. Let me zoom in and brighten it and... Is that... me? John? Thank you for listening to The Rue Papers, written, created and performed by Emma Butler. Early access to episodes and bonus episodes can be found on my Patreon. Remember, listener, some stories should not be told. Make sure you're the right person to tell it, though.